There comes a time on Earth when the fertile soil becomes unusable. Due to water shortages and uncontrolled use of pesticides, the fields no longer yield a normal harvest. The family of farmer Ernest's home remains on their piece of land in the middle of the arid steppe because the man is confident that he can revive the field. But this requires water. One day, Ernest and his son Jeremy notice two thieves picking the locks on his well. He mercilessly shoots one of them. The second one cries, but as soon as Ernest lowers his gun, the man immediately reaches for his pistol but is killed by the farmer's bullet. However, when they open the well, it turns out to be empty. The couple sets off on a journey to the construction site of a water line that bypasses Ernest's land. The farmer sells alcohol there. At the construction site, they are met by foreman Caleb, who does not understand why Ernest is trading with them because his goods are much more expensive at the border. But the farmer still hopes to persuade the builder to bring water to his farm. However, so far the negotiations have not yielded results. After the sale, the father and son return home. On the way, their donkey breaks its leg and it has to be shot. At home, the couple is waiting for Mary, Ernest's daughter and Jeremy's sister. The girl looks after the house, washes clothes with compressed air, washes dishes with sand, and generally maintains order. She is very angry with her father because, as it seems to her, he does nothing to change their lives and refuses to go to the city to visit her mother. At night, she runs away from home to meet her boyfriend. In the morning, Ernest and Jeremy go to a local auction to buy a robotic mule. The organizer of this entire event is a local entrepreneur whose son Flem is also trying to bargain for the mule. However, his father ignores his son's bets for a substantial amount. The mule goes to Ernest. After the auction, the father and son go to visit Ernest's paralyzed wife, whose body is supported by a special exoskeleton. The son watches how tenderly his father treats his mother and understands that he still loves her and cannot forget her. On the way, they stop at a gas station. There they buy clean water and see a couple of local marginal people who are begging for it for their baby. The gas station attendant tells the man that Robbie is thinking of selling his son to get out of poverty for a while. He gives a few liters to Robbie's family and makes the guy promise that he will not sell his son. He is ready to help wayward parents and asks to contact him in extreme cases. When they return home, Flem arrives there to negotiate the lease of the robotic mule. Ernest is ready to meet him halfway if he brings confirmation that his father is not against this deal. Having failed to achieve his goal, an angry Flem leaves and reminds him that Ernest's wife suffers because of his alcoholism. Mary overhears this conversation. Later, Ernest and Jeremy dig a deer trap. Dreaming of a luxurious dinner of real meat, the father tells about a girl he saw at the border. For some reason, he thought that Jeremy would like her and says that the girl's ears were sticking out from under her hair. The couple returns home, and Ernest again sees Flem leaving the farm on a motorcycle. He really doesn't like that the girl is dating this guy, because of which they constantly quarrel. So on this day, Mary throws a tantrum, refusing to end her relationship with Flem. Then the father puts her under house arrest. Having finished boarding up the window, he can't stand it anymore, takes a bottle of alcohol and goes outside to take a few sips. The next day, the man discovers that his garage has been broken into and his car is missing. Naturally, Flem is the first to fall under suspicion. Ernest goes to his father to find out where the boy is gone. He is upset by his son's behavior. Flem is obsessed with Ernest's land. He is sure that it can be revived. Today, he went to the builders. After a tense conversation, Ernest accepts a treat in the form of a drink and sets off in Flem's footsteps. Along the way, he periodically takes a sip from the bottle, and when he arrives at the construction site, he understands that something is wrong there. The workers are looking for someone, and when they notice Ernest, they knock him out. The man comes to his senses and Caleb accuses him of stealing alcohol. Apparently, Ernest decided to follow his advice and took the goods they bought to the border. Ernest guesses who pulled off the dishonest deal. He fights them off and leaves, threatening them with a gun. Later, he finds Flem sleeping next to his car and the stolen alcohol. The man forces Flem to go to the construction site and confess everything. It is incredibly hot and they have no water. Flem makes unpleasant comments about Mary, causing the man to become angry. So when the guy offers to quench his thirst with alcohol, Ernest can't stand it. He takes the bottle, unties Flem's hands, and makes a stop. The guy reveals an old grudge. The land belonged to his father, but the government gave it to Ernest. Having drunk a lot, Ernest is going to continue on his way, but the man is already weak on his feet. Flem throws a stone at him and hits him in the head. Then he pours the remaining alcohol into him, ties him to the car, and sends it where he stole the booze yesterday. Then he goes for Mary and takes her with him. Jeremy immediately understands that something happened to Ernest. He goes to look for him at the construction site and learns about the death of his father. After the funeral, he and his sister go to their mother to tell the terrible news. And when they go outside, Flem is already waiting for them there. From that day on, the guy settles on their farm, and Jeremy first of all tries to smash the car, which, as he believes, is to blame for the death of his father. Flem consoles the guy and promises that he will try to negotiate the supply of water to the farm. Moreover, Mary is expecting a child, and soon they will have a full-fledged family. One day, Flem brings another batch of alcohol to Caleb and hints that if he does not direct the water to Ernest's farm, he will tell everyone that the builders and the farmer had a scandal the day before. And people may think that it was the foreman who killed Ernest. Not wanting to participate in the litigation, the foreman agrees to give him water. After some time, a water supply is brought to the farm. Flem plows the land and sows it. Soon the field begins to please the family with a harvest, and Flem marries Mary. But the feeling of guilt does not leave the guy. He constantly remembers Mary's father. Although life on the farm is changing, there is now real food on the table, and clean water flows from the tap. However, Flem's father soon comes to the farm and says that this land now belongs to the bank. The guy doesn't intend to give away the land he's put so much effort into, just like that. He finds out the size of the debt and decides to act. He makes a deal with Robbie, who finds out the price that will be given for his son. At night, the guy takes him to the village, where a buyer is expected. Robbie and his mother wait aside and suddenly see that their son is being taken away. The man protests. He only wanted to find out the price and does not intend to give him away right away. Seeing this, the buyers kill him and try to shoot Flem, but he escapes with the money. One of the bullets hits the car, and its program, having been damaged, gives the command to return to the manufacturer. Later, Flem buys the farm and tells Jeremy that he gave away the car. The car still makes it to the salon where it was made. After some time, the owner of the workshop contacts Jeremy and says that he has his car. One day, Jeremy witnesses a meeting between Flem and Robbie's girlfriend, who carries a doll with her instead of a child. The boy begins to suspect the truth. Jeremy goes to get the car, but to do this, he needs to cross the border, and because the guy is underage, they don't let him through. Then a young girl notices him and offers to help. Having examined her hair and ears, Jeremy understands that his father was talking about her. The girl helps him into a cargo truck, providing him with a cell phone on the other side. She takes him to the office of the mechanical mule manufacturer and tells him that the return trip will be free for him because the guards do not care who returns to the desert. In the morning, the sleeping Jeremy is found by the owner of the office. The man shows him the bullet holes on the body, but the main surprise is that the car has a camera that records everything. Jeremy watches the recordings alone. The guy sees that everything happened on the day his father died. Flem's theft of the car, his theft of alcohol from the construction camp, and the worst thing is the murder. That same night, Flem wakes up from the sounds of rain, which has not happened in these places for many years, and sees Jeremy frozen in a chair. He tells the guy that the car has returned. The man is scared but tries not to show it and says that he will go to Robbie and find out how this happened. Later, the guys go hunting. Jeremy takes a gun and aims it at Flem's back, but is unable to kill him. At lunch, the teenager reports that Robbie contacted him by radio, looking for Flem. He is furious and scared and accuses the guy of lying. However, the next day, a letter is delivered to the farm in which Robbie asks for a meeting. Flem begins to believe that the guy's alive and can now reveal the truth about their deal with the child. At night, he takes the car and goes to the appointed place, which turns out to be near the place where Ernest was killed. Flem calls Robbie, who does not look under his feet, which is why he does not notice the trap that Jeremy set here. The guy falls into it, breaks his leg, and hits his head. He sees Jeremy above with his father's gun in his hands. He understands that the guy knows the whole truth. He tries to justify himself to press on Mary's pity. However, Jeremy is not interested. He says that he will not tell his sister anything. He looks at the man for a long time and then shoots. Returning home with the car, he says nothing. Mary decides that Flem simply ran away and then offers to take her mother back home because now they have money to support her. Later, the teenager erases the memory of the car, which recorded not only the death of his father, but also the death of the killer.